Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
The Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Who?
Exactly. Theme tune. So, to the strains of Mark on his electric glockenspiel riding into the sunset, I'd like to say hi, hello, guten tag, mine's a pint, and all that stuff to each and every one of our lovely, wonderful, you never look better, even in those shoes, listeners. Welcome to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Yes, it's us again.
Good evening.
The most unlikely duo since Ginger Rogers and Fred Flintstone, presenting Beatleplaces with Mark and Col.
Hey!
And the Col one, according to me library finds, and the man wrestling out of his straitjacket, opposing me is Mark. Say something positive, Mark.
Get out while you can, quick! Save yourselves!
He's only joking, folks. And talking of firsts, we have a brand new Beatleplaces episode lined up for you. We truly do.
Hey ho. Yes indeed. We've reached the heady heights of the letter L.
Wonderful.
Letter L in our Beatles with an A series, so we'll explore that with a fine-tooth comb once I can escape out of this straitjacket. Not long now. Mark, son of Houdini.
He truly is, folks. As always, just keep wriggling. There's a way of undoing that knot. We're talking about all that's great and wonderful and lovely about the Beatles and our own hometown of Liverpool, where they lived and loved and laid about and lingered in this big old place during the formative first 20-odd years that nobody ever seems to talk about. So tonight we're sat here in our rented tuxedos and top hats. So that must be Mark inside that sack. He must be wearing them.
Yep.
Chunnering in a race of knots about all things Beatles, all things Liverpool, like we always do. So it's all beginning with an L in them tonight. All the letters, letter L as in L for leather, L for lumpy porridge, and legs 11.
Talking of legs, I've got one leg out now. That's okay. Bingo!
Hey.
Loads more, Col, and
Yeah.
we can go up and down the Beatle dial with Gumph and General Gubbins, as we always do, so we're almost bursting at the seams with Beatle quizzes, Beatle features, Beatle chat, Beatle nonsense, mostly from Col, crappy karaoke, book recitals, and a whole heap of how's your father. Onward, but first, let me get out of this sack before the water comes up to my neck. Mark, son of Houdini. Good evening and welcome to it all. This is Beatleplaces podcast.
Great intro there, award-winning intro.
Thank you. Mark and Col here.
Hello.
I'm the Mark bit. That's the Col bit over there.
Hi.
And I think we'll start the evening, the proceedings, with just a bit of a quiz.
Oh, I thought you were going to order food.
Well,
Start the evening with, let's have pate.
have the fish and chips now.
Have
right,
fish and
yes.
chips first, yeah.
So we're going to start off with a bit of a brain teaser for you.
Oh, straight off.
Straight off.
Out the blocks.
Out the blocks, we're
Blimey.
going.
Okay.
I would like to know
Yeah.
what is the track before. That's what we're doing
This
now.
is a bit too early.
Well, it's getting summertime now, and you want the fresh air going around your brain and your bones and your blood and everything like that. And so hopefully something like that will revive you.
I suppose you've got an excuse there. Let's use it.
Right.
All right.
So I'm going to start off with question number 1 from the album Revolver. I would like to know what was the track that came before For No One. Okay, what came before?
Well, as
For No
as
One?
usual, I'll give the audience, our listener, Herbert, give him a chance to go, and then not Google it, not look it up in any fancy books or anything like that.
Or the LP. It's
Or play the LP, which you could do as well. So before For No One.
Right, okay. That's number one. Number two, from the album Abbey Road, what was the track before She came in through the bathroom window. Okay? I would like to know what track came before She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. Right?
Yeah, sort of all right, yeah.
You've got that one written down now. And finally, number 3 in this series of 3. The album Rubber Soul we're talking about now. And I'd like to know what is the track before What Goes On. All right?
Sheesh.
From the album Rubber Soul, what is the track before What Goes On?
So I stayed up all night for nothing.
So for No One, track before that. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, the track before that. And What Goes On, the track before that. Thank you.
Okay.
Answers coming shortly.
Yeah, well, I'll do a feature then. I'll do a little wee feature. And through the show tonight, through the podcast tonight with me and Mark, I'm going to do things about Liverpool. It's an L. It's Liverpool. So let's give it a bit more prominence, as much as the Beatles ever were. And I'll give you a couple of Liverpool firsts, right? Just to rock and roll things. Liverpool was had the first school of tropical medicine. 1899, that was. Liverpool did the first X-ray in 1896. I'm not sure if we should speak to Röntgen, was it? The guy who invented the thing in the first place, but it says so.
Not Mr. Ray, then?
No. The other one didn't want the publicity. But here's the one that beats them all. It's another Liverpool first. It was the first UK city to import a banana.
No.
Yeah, it was true.
Was it?
Yeah. The year, nobody knows about, but it must have been a while back.
And it was the first public library as well?
Well, I'll do a few more later on. These will all surprise. Little Liverpool first. So that's about Liverpool. Anything about the Beatles comes next.
Ooh, well, there you go.
Well, shall I tease you with a bit of a quizzy poony?
Get me this time.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I was looking online like you do for all the nice things in life. And they had a Beatles auction on advertised about a month ago. And it was from the Omega Auctions people. So I think they're based in Lancashire someplace. And they were selling various Beatles memorabilia. And God knows who gave them in, because I had a mate of mine, Mo, and she was a Cavernite, and she had loads of stuff. She had cigarettes that they'd thrown away and all kinds of things, combs. And I said, you should get them all flogged, you pay for your house. But she never did. But there are some people who have willingly given up these things, and here they are for sale in an auction. I think the auction's over, but I want Mark to do me a favour and have a go at guessing what they went for.
Oh, okay then.
What they went for.
Right.
Okay, nice, easy sort of. Let's get cracking sort of. Question. A red Parlophone single, 1963, 7-inch single. Please Please Me. How much was it sold for? So that's red label Parlophone, so UK label.
Ooh, right.
Have a go.
Now?
Right, yeah, no. Now. Yeah, give you 2 or 3 now.
£25,000.
Is so wrong, it's unbelievable. It's 80 quid.
80 quid?
Only 80 quid.
Oh, all right then.
You can, if you want, you can get Paul McCartney's insurance policy from 1967, the actual document, and that's flogged for
7 and 6. No idea.
That's in old money, yeah. 100 quid. Would you say yes or would you say no to that? I don't know.
No.
Now the big money's in autographs, wouldn't you agree? So now we're talking about Paul's new album, Dungeon Lane, The Boys of Dungeon Lane. And of course he sang about Penny Lane. And we'll talk about places where the Beatles played later on in the podcast. But here's the thing. How much was the original Penny Lane street sign sold for?
Ooh,
so it was pinched as soon as the record come out. So, and it was in a fella's house, a local fella, and he admitted to it, but it's been bought and sold. And it's sold for
£2,000.
I'd up the ante on that. £5,000, 5,000 quid.
I'm nearer than the last time, though, then.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Getting there.
And it's looking a bit more realistic.
Another 700 questions, I'll be right on it.
The one I always think is hard are the autographs, because they're all random, in terms of where they are, who did them, are they real? But this one seems real. Pete Best is on this autograph of the other three Beatles and Pete Best, so that's a very old one. So it's between 60 and 62. Let's get the era right. So Pete Best has signed the piece of paper, as well as the other three Beatles. No Ringo, as you can guess.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
Ooh, 500 quid.
Oh, I'd crank that up a wee bit.
600 quid.
And then some. Then you're just taking the Michael here, aren't you?
Yeah, go on.
12 grand.
Oh, bloody
12 grand, yeah.
Good heavens.
Yeah. It's all kind of what I expected to be, except the autographs just knocked me sideways. I'm going to go, well, I could just go round and ask him, and he might sign something. That might be the way, because Paul's a local chap sometimes when he lives around here. I could just go around and pretend I'm collecting for getting a parcel signed or something like that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, house paid for.
Here's your delivery, Mr. McCartney.
Could you sign John as well, and then put just a special one for me, Pete, and anyone else you can think of?
It's from my mother, really.
It's really. There you go. Come on, do your stuff. You're good at stuff.
Right then, I'm going to do a little read of tell you a little bit first from John Lennon's book called In His Own Right, and on the back of the book, which I paid £1.50 for.
Oh.
Yeah, all those years ago.
Yeah, it won't be in an auction anytime soon, though, will it?
It costs a bit more than that now, I think. And on the back it says, About the Awful. I was bored on the 9th of October, 1940, when I believe the Nasties were still booming us, led by Mad Alf Heatlum, who only had one. Anyway, they didn't get me. I attended to varicose schools in Liddipole, and still didn't pass much to my auntie's supplies. As a member of the most publified Beatles, me and PG at ours records might seem funnier to you than this book, but as far as I'm conceived, this correction of Short Ritty is the most wonderful laugh I've ever ready. God help and breed you all. John Lennon. That's from the back page of his
just the intro, yeah.
Just the intro in his own right.
I'd make you buy it, wouldn't it? I'd splurged £1.50 on that.
Shall I read all about Liddipole as well?
Oh yeah, well our theme.
I think I've read this before.
Our theme is L and everything else. So
this is Liddipole. Reviving the old tradition of judo bathing is slowly but slowly dancing in Liddipole once more. Do you remember these owl custard of Boldy Street blowing? The pier hat is very popular for sun eating, and boots for nude brighter is handies when sailing. We are not happy with their Queen Victoria's monologue, but walkie through gallery is goodly when the rain, and Sit Georgie House is black and white from the little pilgrims flying from the Helsey College. Talk Hall is very hysterical with old things what are fakes, and King Anne never slept there, I tell you. Shout Airborne is handily for planes, if you like, no longer government patrolled, and the LCCC, Liverpool Cha-Cha-Cha, are doing a great thing. The Mersey boat is selling another 3 copies to some go-home foreigners who went home. There is a lot to do in Liddipole, but not all convenience. So that's Liddipole by John Lennon.
And a classic. Let's not forget, it's a classic. The way they're done as well is very good. Well done.
I'll try and read it in a Scouse accent more next time, should I? But sometimes it's a bit too much.
We're a bit Qatari, aren't we? I didn't bring my guitar with me, Qatari.
We've had colds the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've had stinking colds, and that's why we put off the show for a little bit. But
very phlegmy.
We're back with a force now, even if it has got a bit of phlegm attached to it. So, phlegm. By the way, Paul McCartney was always very proud of the fact he could spell that word.
Was he?
Yeah, yeah. So, moving on. Picking up letter L stuff, Liverpool and Beatles. Here's one about them both. On the evening session of the 23rd of Feb, 1962, Cavan people were queuing just after midnight for the show the very next day. This is after midnight. Now, there were lots of kids who were Cavanites, my mate Mo included, and they would have let's say, a badge of honour, or an honourable code, where they would, if there was tickets for a gig tomorrow, and as the Beatles became more and more and more popular, there would be a rush for tickets, and there's only so much space in the cavern as was. And what they agreed to do was everyone would queue and be noted in the queue, and at 10 o'clock everyone could go home because you're all at school or work or something like that. And then good as gold, the next day they'd turn up in the same queue, same people, same order, same everything. That was just the code of the Cavernites. And when George noticed that everyone was queuing late one night for their gig the next day, he turned up in his Ford Anglia. You can picture one of them still, can't you, Mark? Ford Anglia.
A flawed Anglia, yes.
A flawed Anglia.
A flawed Anglia.
And he was kind of concerned about how long people have been waiting. And these are like young girls and young lads just in the cold in the west. And if you know Liverpool well, and especially Matthew Street, it doesn't dry up very well. It's very covered by big buildings and warehouses around there, so the sunshine doesn't kind of creep down Matthew Street. It's kind of nearby. What he knew was that people would be stuck out in the elements all night, so he went down to the Pier Ed, which is our waterfront by the River Mersey, and he went to a place called a Coffee Cart, which is one of the old sort of bus station cafes, and he bought 25 steak and kidney pies. When he was done, 25. These are for the fans who are queuing up because he felt sorry for them. So and that reminded me, the Coffee Cart was still going when I was a kid, and I'd go to gigs at places like Eric's, which was the cavern as was in the 70s and 80s, and also there was the Liverpool Stadium where they'd have loads of gigs. What you do is you get the ferry home and you'd walk down there. But I was down at the Pier Ed, and I went to the Coffee Cart, I think, to go to the toilet, really. And I went in there. Next thing, all the lights go off. And it turns out they were closing for the night. It was getting on. And the door was shut. And I was kind of like, more wondered why the lights had gone out than the doors were being shut. But luckily, somebody heard me going, I'm a bit stuck in here, and I'm not planning to stay long. So they opened up the shop, turned on the lights to let me out. So that was my little Pier Ed catastrophe. But another thing about that is I found a picture, very old picture, of the Pier Ed as it used to be. Very dark, very black, because everything was covered in soot from the ship funnels. And Liverpool Pier Ed was just a big black mass. It's very pretty now. It's been hoovered.
But they've had the cleaner out on it.
They've had two cleaners out, Doris and Mabel, and they've scrubbed everything. And now there's even a canal that channels through the bottom bit, and it's very sort of pretty and scenic. It used to be just a functioning bus terminus once upon a time. And lo and behold, this picture told me, it had a picture of the very bus Paul and George caught to get home from, because the deal was when school ended at the Liverpool Institute every day, 5 days a week, they would run down to the Pier Ed because the buses were empty at the Pier Ed and then filled up as you got as far as Liverpool Institute School. So they were wise to this, and what they did was they got the buses from the Pier Ed. When they were nice and empty, you could have their choice of seats. And I've got a picture of the very bus, the 80, which goes to Speak, which is the very bus we're talking about, the bus that Paul and George caught. So I'm in a day or two, when I'm free, I suppose, I'm going to go down there and photograph the very, very spot where the bus stop was. I don't think anybody knows about it. So that'll be a nice little treat for you people on my Instagram account. I'll put that up there soon. What have you got, Mark?
Well, I'm just trying to pick a song beginning with L that I can tell you about, really.
Okay.
So just hang on a second or three while I just dig this one out.
Well, let me just tell you. I mentioned the Instagram account I've got, and I'd put up some pictures of a place in Liverpool called Faulkner Street. It was a place near to the Liverpool Institute School. It was a place near to the Art College. It was near to everything, really. But it's up the top of Hope Street and Faulkner Street. My family lived up that way as well. But there was a very famous chippy there, fish and chip shop, what they used to call a fish fryers. And it was called Vaughan's, and I just featured a picture of it nowadays. Nowadays, it's kind of an Italian type of bistro-y type of eat place. And I was there the other week having a meal, and it was nice, and it was clean and sunny, and it was good. So now it is a restaurant, but once upon a time, it was a chippy, well, as we call it, a chippy, and where Paul and John and George used to go regularly during school lunchtimes for their chips, and usually a thing called scallops, which is like fishy bits and pieces. I'm not sure what a scallop comes from. What part of a fish is a scallop, Mark?
I don't know. I thought a potato was a scallop.
Do you know what? You might be right. Maybe it just smells of fish. I
don't know. Really.
I smell a fish on a good day.
Usually when you go to the chip shop, you have for scallops, you get it's like sliced potato.
You might be, yeah.
I think.
I think I saw somebody doing that the other day. Anyway, so I was just checking through the Instagram account, and somebody got back in touch saying, "Oh, thank you for putting the picture of Vaughan's Chip Shop on the page." Which I've done a few times, but when I know a little bit more, I'll put a little bit more on the thing and put the picture up again. And a lady called Skip Lady, 1980, got in touch. And she said, thanks very much for putting the picture up, Carl. It was a nice reminder for my gran, who's called June, whose family ran the chippy.
Ooh.
And remembers John and Paul and George going to the chippy when they were kids, when they were school kids.
All right.
So the best bit is, and it's a memory, no one knows this, so I'm going to tell you all for the first time worldwide, that when June was there cooking chips, I suspect, and those funny scallops that we can't label, I'll write to June in a minute. When June was working there, John was never using his manners properly, according to Paul. He'd always be a bit rude and a bit loud and other things. Also, June used to say that John used to sing to the rhythm of the chip cutting machine. Do you remember those things at the back of the chippy?
Yeah.
Ka-chum, 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 ka-chum. So there's a nice thought. So there's John singing a song about while chips are being made. So I never saw that turn up on an LP any time after that, but there you go. Nobody else knew that till I told yous. June, you're wonderful. Keep it up, love. Keep it up.
Very good. Right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a song called The Long and Winding Road now. So like yesterday, The Long and Winding Road evokes loss without describing any specific situation. The images of wind and rain suggest feelings of being abandoned in the wilderness, with the long and winding road leading to her door is the sign of hope. The imagery actually comes from Paul's experience of staying at High Park, his farm in Scotland, which is exposed to high winds and frequently lashed with rain. The long and winding road is itself the B852.
Oh.
So why I didn't call it that, I don't know. It's the B842. Did I say 5 then?
Let's wind it back.
B842.
That's
no,
it.
I was right. Over 25 miles of twists and turns, which runs down the east coast of Kintyre into Campbelltown, the nearest town to the farm. Paul has said that he had the voice of Ray Charles in mind when he wrote it, and that this influenced the use of jazzy chords. The road he envisaged as an endless road because the song is about what it is eventually unattainable. Very long words there, sorry.
Yeah, you've given yourself a lot of challenges in that.
It was released as a single in America in May 1970 and reached the #1 spot. So that's The Long and Winding Road, all about the B842 in
Yeah, I know why you didn't.
Kintyre.
I know why you didn't call it the B852.
Can't rhyme it.
Rhyme in it, yeah. I mean, you could say blue, you.
The B842.
Nah.
That doesn't work.
Well done, Paul, for thinking outside the box. Traffic box, that is. That's a good one, that. Yeah, come up with another L one in a bit.
I'll have a go.
Yeah. L for Lennon. We did a Lennon special last time around. I hope it was enjoyed by one and a few alls. We'll do something similar when Macca's turn comes around, but we've got Macca to speak about as well, because he's about to, nearly on the verge of, could be soon, releasing his newest album, which is Boys from Dungeon Lane. There was a few people that I noticed who were foreign, let's call them foreign fans, and they turned up at Dungeon Lane and to find that there's no sign there. And I saw that Paul had been interviewed by a few, let's say, intellectual people, Financial Times and the sort of the ELS, the educational literary people,
Right.
and they didn't understand what he meant by the signs being not there, because it was just an old road that had been derelict, abandoned, ignored, and all of a sudden Liverpool City Council rushed a nice sign there around there, and now people are stood there trying to get the sort of thrill of the moment. But it's a different kind of a place now, I think, to what it was as a kid for Paul. We're talking 70 years. And we're talking about the fact that he's talking about the beach and the walk down to the beach and the nature on the beach as well. So Dungeon Lane is a real place. But I was going to mention around Mark as well. Let's see. I've got it here handy.
Have you?
Yeah. There's
What,
other
me?
places that other Beatles went to. They never get a mention.
Ah.
And they just deserve it. I'll find him.
Russell.
Yeah. Oh, bring him along too if you like.
He's a lovely fellow.
Yeah, I think Russell's very handy.
He's done well lately.
He should fetch us a cup of tea.
Yeah, and a biscuit.
I had something written down which were about all the places that the Beatles played at. I mean, the one off the top of my head, well, Paul was at Dungeon Lane walking down there. John had his Strawberry Field, but also he had Calderstones Park, a dirty big park, just on the opposite side of his house, from his house. But Ringo, where did Ringo go? Ringo lived in the Dingle, which is a kind of a hilly area of Liverpool, which faces the docks, the Graving docks and various berthing docks down there.
Nearer the centre of the city, isn't it?
Yeah, and as you go nearer the city, there's less Beatles, but as you'll find out, but as we know. But George himself, he used to play in the same sort of area as John was a little kid, in a place called Woolton Mystery. Woolton Mystery. Why it was given the name, nobody kind of knows. But I looked up a fact about Liverpool anyway the other day. Do you know Calderstones, Mark, the park?
I do.
And the stones in Calderstones.
Yes.
They're older than Stonehenge.
They are.
Oh, you didn't tell me that?
I did know that, yes. I put them there, to be honest.
Oh, did you know? Well, you don't look it. You don't look old enough to do that kind of thing.
I've had a hard life.
Have you?
So, yeah, I did know they're very, very, very,
Very old, yeah. I mean, it's not like we don't appreciate it, but if somebody told us a bit more of these things, we'd be out there more often. It's not our fault.
It's history, isn't
Yeah,
it, really?
and it's history to speak of. But what Paul... I've got me note. I found me notes, mate.
Oh,
I found me notes. Yeah, so we had some places to play for the Beatles, and that included... Like we've talked about, Dungeon Lane was like the going down to the sea, so the equivalent of the beach for Paul. Also, he played in a place called Chinese Farm. Do you know where Chinese Farm is?
No.
It's near one of your relatives, where your relatives live. Hale Wood.
Ah.
Yeah, Hale Wood. It used to be called the Old Hut Farm, and it was a proper farm, and it even had a moat around it. I've looked at some old maps. You can tell I should have hobbies. But the Old Hut was a proper farm on the old map of Liverpool before the industrial estates took over, before the car making plants turned up in South Liverpool, before the housing estates turned up with Paul and co.
There's also a road there called New Hut Lane as well.
Ah, well,
which is very near my mother-in-law's house.
So we're talking about relevant stuff. So what Paul may sing in his album to come is places like Chinese Farm and another place called the Dam Wood. Now that isn't Dam with an exclamation mark in it. It's DAM Wood.
Flipping wood.
Flipping. Drat Street.
Right.
And of course, George was living in Wavertree, but near Wavertree, it sounds crazy, but it is a place called Woolton Mystery, which is a bit of land, a bit of farmland, a bit of park. But there's loads of lovely named places like Dinner Lane, as in, come and get your.
Aye.
And there's another place called Pottery Beach, which is nearer where Ringo used to live, because in the olden times, Ringo's sort of area where he lived, that was kind of hilly, and it had deers on it, and it had kind of like, there was hunting going on in the Dingle of Liverpool.
Pottery there as well. There was a potteries place.
Pottery Beach.
They dumped a lot of the broken stuff down there as well.
Ah, well, yeah, well, it's something to go and investigate, isn't it? Then George also mentioned in one of his own sort of one of his own biographies. He's got another one due out soon, a photographic one. He came to play in Bidston Hill, as we know it, called Biddy Hill. And so he played there as a little boy, but I wouldn't go to Biddy Hill, not really, not without police presence.
No.
And
Never come back alive.
Helicopter and a couple of dogs. Nowadays, he used to be all right, but where Ringo played was he would play with his mates because they had nothing, they had no money, they had nowhere else to go. He had a place called Jericho Farm. Now, if Mark and me know our roads around Liverpool, by Otterspool is Jericho Lane. And Jericho Farm is based on there. But a fact I kind of couldn't pin down till about this week was George worked for a department store once upon a time as an electrician apprentice, and the shop was called Blackler's, famous old Liverpool store. And Blackler's looked after its staff. It gave them kind of like Christmas bonuses and extra things. It also had like a sports centre, it's kind of a welfare centre, but it was kind of out of town a bit, and it was near Jericho Farm. And the place is still there now. I think it's run by the Merseyside Police. They have a social club in that piece of land. But once upon a time, George was there, and I believe he took his guitar to play a few songs to a few mates there. Not that he ran around a track or anything. I think he just went to the social club there. But it's by the Otterspool coast, if anyone ever ventures that far out from Liverpool. Maybe we should mention, I could mention other places like Loose Chippings. There's a lot of...
I know him.
Oh, yeah, Loose Chippings by the sea.
Yeah.
And, of course, lots more. So a couple of weird things about where Liverpool had its play places for the Beatles.
Well, goodness me.
What?
What's that noise?
Coming to a pair of ears near you every now and then, it's the Beatleplaces podcast.
It was a jingle.
It was a good jingle.
It was, yes.
4 out of 5 on TripAdvisor.
Excellent. Yeah. Any more? A bit later on?
Well, I've got Liverpool firsts still to rock and roll. I've got a quiz. I've got to do a quiz, haven't I?
Go on. While you're sorting yourself out.
He said, wandering around his own paperwork.
I'll tell you all a bit about Lady Madonna.
Oh, please, yeah.
Written by Paul, and he started recording it at the beginning of February 1968. And on the first recording session, George and John played 2 guitars through the same amplifier, while Ringo played drums. Paul then added some bass guitar and his own voice. Then 4 top jazz session musicians, Ronnie Scott, Harry Klein, Bill Povey and Bill Jackson, all played saxophones, a last-minute addition instigated by Paul. And Paul plays the piano, and the vocal backing is by all 4 Beatles singing with their hands cupped around their mouths. So I have to listen out for that again.
Well, it makes you want to listen, doesn't it?
Yeah,
when you get
I'll have a listen.
When the song's out and go, in the distance you can hear a cow horn or something, and you kind of tune in again. And go, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, and they always say you can not unhear it once you've heard it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Would you like little quizzy pools?
Go on.
Little quizzy pools.
Why not? Yes.
Who's who? Paul McCartney. Who's who? Paul McCartney. Let's see what you know. Couple of questions. I'll give you 5 questions. 5 questions. Okay, all about Paul. What BBC sitcom did Paul make an appearance in 1988? Okay. Ponder. Think about it.
Oh, I know.
Scratch the old noggin.
I know.
Question 2. When was Paul jailed for possession of Mary Jane marijuana in Japan?
Right.
Bit more obvious, I think. You can kind of nail it. Question 3. What was the title of the song Paul gave to the Black Dyke Mills Band? That was a brass band, to you and me in English. An old-fashioned brass band. More like a Sally Army band, I'd say, but they were musical. Okay, moving on to question 4. What was the first musical instrument Paul owned?
Ooh.
And don't say a whistle. Took off his socks and hummed. Finally, question 5 of these extra special selection. What song did Paul write intended for Frank Sinatra? That's because I was watching Frasier in the week, and they sang Frasier's dad had written a song for Frank Sinatra that never got made. It's a good story. So there we go. BBC sitcom, marijuana, Black Dyke Mills band song, musical instruments, and Frank Sinatra.
Well-known Scouser.
Pardon me.
Right.
Arsenal.
Right.
Boo.
Right. Have you heard of a fellow called Magic Alex?
Yeah.
Ah, right. Very good. Just thought I'd ask.
Good night.
Good night. Yes.
There's more.
There's more.
I don't remember his surname and stuff. But
Magic Alex was a Greek person who sort of wangled his way into the Beatles' life. Very impressed. He impressed John quite a bit with his ideas for this, that, and the other. He didn't have any qualifications or anything like that, and he was brought in to build up some things, make all sorts of bits and pieces for Apple Electronics. So when Paul and Beatles went to America, they had a press conference at the Americana Hotel, and Magic Alex sat at John's right hand, toying with a bunch of flowers. Long-haired and bearded, he looked very much like any other hippie, but he was now head of Apple Electronics division. And then he decided to start inventing things. So I've got a bit of a list here of what he invented. There's a bit of a film as well with him walking about with white shirt and trousers on, with a technician's coat on, fiddling with a pile of junk, as Tony Bramwell put it. So he says, "Hello, I am Alex from Apple Electronics.
Oh.
I would like to say hello to all my brothers around the world, and to all the girls around the world, and to all the electronic people around the world. And this is Apple Electronics." So he didn't know what he was
Man
doing.
of many words.
So he rattles on a bit more with flashing lights going up and down, and he invented, well, let's say what it is. He gives Paul a phone, and Paul said, "What's this? What's this then?" And fair enough, he said, "What's that noise? Oh, it's got a radio in it." And Paul said, "Wrong," Paul says with a laugh, "it's just a phone. It's just a little thing we have up our sleeves." So he half invented a phone. But the other inventions by Magic Alex include, are you ready for this?
Go on.
An X-ray camera that could see through walls, a force field that envelops any building in coloured air, rendering it invisible, a solar-powered electric guitar, paint that makes objects invisible, a house that hovers in the air suspended on an invisible beam, a home heating system that runs on ordinary household batteries, a device for preventing records being taped off the radio by sending out a series of high-pitched squeals, and a special paint that changes colour at the flick of a switch. One of his more audacious inventions was loud paper, an audible form of wallpaper. Paul listened wide-eyed as the electronics guru described it. He would sit and tell us as how it would be possible to have wallpapers which were speakers, so you could wallpaper your room with some sort of substance, plug it in, and the whole room would vibrate and work as a loudspeaker. Loud paper, we called it. So he said, yes, we like that one. But George Martin, older and wiser, was less easily impressed. Of all the hangers-on, the one I recall most vividly, he said, was Magic Alex, who was so preposterous it would have been funny had he not caused so much embarrassment and difficulty with me in the recording studio. So he decided to disappear in the end, did Magic Alex.
I wondered where he went. He was the original waste of space, wasn't he?
He flew in the end to Australia, I think, and tried to get...
Sure he didn't float?
No, don't think so.
Oh.
Not as far as I know, anyway.
Could you turn down the loud wallpaper, stewardess, please?
Yeah. He died in 2017, and his obituarist in the Times calculated that in today's money, Alex Mardas's projects had cost the Beatles £4 million with no tangible return. So there we go. That's a bit on Magic Alex.
Yeah, and the word hanger-on is proper. You know, it's a proper hanger-on. I mean, they were plagued by a lot of that. We're going to mention Savile Row in a second. It's that was where they all gravitated. That's where they all kind of rocked up and turned up and bothered them and took free things and walked out with stuff. It was true. And he was one of them. Famously, the only thing Magic Alex helped him with was a little bit of a negotiation trying to buy a Greek island. Yep. Which was Leslo, and because being Greek, he had contacts and stuff. But it was kind of it was a military thing, you know. The military were running Greece at the time, so it was a bit of an awkward one. And also, he had intentions at the Apple Studios to make this 72-channel mixing desk.
Yep.
Never worked. Nothing. Just a hulk of a thing.
And George Martin noticed that the walls were that thin. There was no room for the wires to go from one room to the other, from the mixing desk to the studio. So all the cables had to be pushed through doorways. Left doors were left open because of the cables.
He hadn't thought it. Do you know, for his qualifications, it sounds like even I could work with the Beatles. The way it's going, it's like nothing. Got no experience. Done nothing. Bit of a hanger on. Can I? You know, you're gonna eat all that pie. That's how he was. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a strange old fella. Magic Alex. Thanks, Mark.
There we go.
Jingle time, I think.
Oh, hang on. Just get it going. Let's wind it up.
These 78s.
There we go.
It's the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We haven't planned the show, so nothing can go wrong. Hi everyone, and a big welcome back from two small people. Mark and Col are here doing Beatleplaces with podcast with Mark and Col, as if I don't know that.
Hooray.
And we're doing the letter L because last time around we did a John Lennon special, and now we're just doing L stuff the Beatles are related to, and we're talking about Liverpool as well. Deserves a mention. It's got a bit of an L in this, quite a few. More firsts of Liverpool, if you really want to know. The first crossword puzzle that was ever invented was from a Liverpool journalist.
Oh.
Charles Dickens once worked as a policeman in Liverpool. He
did, I know that.
Outside of London, Liverpool is the most filmed-in location in Great Britain. Now, I'm not sure there, because when you and I wander around town, it's very filmic. I mean, I was talking before about Falconer Street, which looks exactly like a Victorian neighbourhood in a posh area. Cobbled streets and nice sort of lantern lights and big sort of, buildings and houses. Very grand. But, luckily that was left alone by the council. But you think things like the cavern would have been kept because it's got some kind of heritage to it. But no,
they didn't realise.
They flattened that in 1966. The fools. I feel like Charlton Heston sometimes. What did you do? You ruined things.
Liverpool stood for all sorts of places around the world, really. It's New York, Russia and everything.
It wasn't uncommon to look out the window from work and you'd see a film crew with all the lights or everything. I think I saw Natalie Portman a few times. She was doing a movie locally, but that was by the town hall. And Batman's been filmed there. A bit of Harry Potter's been involved in there, and a few other things as well. But it's just got a bit of everything that's handy for filming, and maybe it's got cheap parking. I don't know, something like that.
Maybe that's it. I've yet to find it.
A few more Liverpool first. You may know. Just put your hand up in the air if you do know. The captain of the Titanic, Mr. Smith, Captain Smith.
Aye.
He wasn't from Liverpool, but he lived in Liverpool. He lived in a place called Waterloo, up what they call a marine terrace, appropriately enough. Waterloo. He had a lot of damp in his house that I know of.
Did he know?
Finish this little section for now with the old English name for Liverpool was Muddy Pool. Muddy Pool, not Bloody Pool. Muddy Pool, because it kind of is and was a kind of a damp area where ships came to.
Bit soggy.
And it helped. The boats could come a bit closer because it was soggy. What have you got?
How about the answers to the track before quiz?
Oh.
All right, and then I'll do another one straight
Hang
after.
on, I'll just see if my psychiatrist is on speed dial here. I hate this particular.
Are we ready? Right, this is from the album Revolver. I would like to know the track before For No One. Okay, on the album For No One. Any idea?
Is it Good Day Sunshine?
No, it's And Your Bird Can Sing.
Really?
Aye. And how about that one? So that's the track before For No One is And Your Bird Can Sing. Now Abbey Road, and the track that came before She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. Have a think.
Maxwell, Silver Hammer.
No, that's earlier on. A lady. Made of
Polystyrene.
nearly polythene
Pam.
Aye, so polythene Pam even came before she came in through the bathroom window. And finally, at last, he says, the album Rubber Soul, the track before What Goes On.
You could easily say that would be Taxman.
It's another lady. No, that's the first track. French lady.
French. Michelle.
Aye.
And why do you have to give me clues for this? I should
Because
know.
you didn't know otherwise.
I should. I should.
We sat here all night.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it does help to have cushions here. Wonderful
Arsenal.
questions, and I hate you.
Thank you.
So, okay.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. I had some questions myself here, so let's just give back as good as I got. Mark, questions about Paul McCartney in various things, doing stuff. One, what BBC sitcom did Paul make an appearance in? 1988.
Bread.
Is right,
Hey.
yeah. Kind of an unfunny sitcom to me. I kind of cringe because it's kind of the actors in it are meant to be Liverpool people, Scousers, and I don't think I think there's one in there who's really
Gene Boat.
Gene Boat was and there was I think that was it. And it does make me cringe a bit because it's kind of like this kind of makes Liverpool people out to be a little bit.
I used to like it back then.
Yeah,
it's
let's say it was charming.
It's a bit dated slightly now.
Oh God, I mean when it's repeated, I just can't bear it. Next question. When Paul was jailed for possession of marijuana in Japan, what year was it?
1968.
Oh no! Oh no!
No.
Oh God, no! Oh, absolutely not. No, how wrong can you get? Go round the house. Go round the houses twice. Go round the block twice.
I'll go down the bottom of the garden and start crying.
And hang your head. 1980.
Oh.
1980 was the famous one where he was jailed. And,
That one. Yes.
yeah,
I'm getting mixed
they
up.
took marijuana with them in this when they went to play in Japan in the Budokan and all that. That was 66 though, wasn't it? So maybe they took a little bit around with it. Paul was probably caught out the next time he came back.
I think they probably took it everywhere they went in a way, really, but kept it well hidden.
Yeah, it was in like the turn-ups and in various places, but this time around, not so lucky. There was a theory that Yoko Ono blew the gaff and told the people who thought it kind of connects, doesn't it? Japanese don't like Paul, not getting on with Paul at the time, but there was a theory that Yoko Ono had basically run Crime Stoppers Japan and said, "There's a fella here. You better search him, you know." What was the title of the song Paul gave to the Black Dyke Mills Band?
Thingamy-bob?
It was Thingamy-bob, yeah, and it's all right. It's not a bad song. I've enjoyed that. He's written loads of it. That was the one where he went up north to get it recorded, and then when he came back, he played Hey Jude in some kind of a pub on the way back for the first time, yeah. What was the first musical instrument Paul owned?
I would say ukulele.
Well, it's not what you think. You're quite right. It's trumpet, because his dad bought him a trumpet, and he said you can't.
And he sold it.
Yeah, you can't sing and play it at the same time. But it doesn't sound so good when you do, anyway. Okay, question 5. What song did Paul write intended for Frank Sinatra?
Oh,
It was a really odd one, and I've seen him sing it once. And it was on Chat Show, and he said this was for Frank Sinatra.
don't know.
It was called Suicide. Suicide. As odd as that sounds, it was kind of an okay tune, and it very much was a Frank Sinatra song, But you've got to hear it to understand this. So there you go. 5 silly questions. Let's hope Mark feels as bad about giving me those questions as I do giving him mine.
Right. I do, yes. I feel awful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Consider that a confession.
You're listening to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Cole. Thank you. No,
Sorry, I'm just feeding me seal.
Right. And yes, we're on episode number 321.
Too many bloody episodes. That's what we're doing, mate.
And we're squeezing this one in before it gets too much.
Yeah. It's halfway through the alphabet, really, more or less.
Really, yeah.
Roundabout, as far as I can count.
Shall I say a name to you? Derek Taylor.
God bless that man.
He was a press officer of the Beatles, and he worked in Apple building, in the Apple office and Apple headquarters, and he complained about a lot of the stuff disappearing. But he was one to talk. So here we go. In the space of a fortnight, now this is a fortnight, his own press office clocked up a bill for 600 Benson & Hedges cigarettes, 8 dozen Cokes, 8 bottles of J&B whiskey,
Blimey.
4 bottles of Courvoisier brandy, 3 bottles of vodka,
Only the good stuff, eh?
2 dozen ginger ales, 1 dozen tonic waters, 2 dozen bitter lemons, 1 dozen tomato juice, 3 bottles of lime, and 4 dozen lagers. Having studied the invoice, another Apple employee commented, "Oh, they've cut back a bit then." In an editorial in the Apple House magazine, Derek Taylor said, "We've had many guests at Apple, friends. Can't remember any of them. Very stoned, you see. Affects the memory."
Oh, that's lovely, that.
And that is from a book called 1234 by Craig Brown. It's from not a brand new book. It's been out since. Let me have a look.
I've seen it around, but I've not picked it up because I'm thinking we buy that many books anyway.
Yeah.
You're thinking you want a bit of quality control, don't you? Because you could buy any old stuff.
Yeah, first published in 2020, and
not so long back.
Not that long ago.
No.
But I haven't finished it yet. I'm nearly at the end. But it's an excellent book, and I can recommend it to anybody. That's where some of these quotes have come from, by a fellow called Craig Brown. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Excellent book. Go out and buy it. It's called 1234, and it's published by the Fourth Publishing Company, which is otherwise known as the Fourth Estate. And it's a HarperCollins publishing book.
Oh, big stuff, yeah.
So excellent book.
I enjoy the odd Beatle book that you don't think is going to be that good. I'm ringing a sort of bargain basement type of story about Ringo Starr at the moment. It's pretty good. It's got a bit of filler in it about his early days, but enjoyable stuff nonetheless. And sometimes the rest of, if it's 500 pages big, 100 pages is quite good, 400 not so, because it's all kind of like filler or stuff, and a lot of people who listen to this podcast, they kind of like the locality of what we do. They're keeping it local, talking about local stuff, because it isn't in books. We stumble across it just because we do and we can, more often than not, and we do our best to make it as fresh as possible. But we'll talk about some crazy stuff in a minute. That was great. I enjoyed that. Yeah,
this book, by the way, has got 639 pages in it, so it's it keep you occupied. You can't read it all at one go, obviously, but there's a hell of a lot to take in. But I can remember it. 1234 by Craig Brown. go out and buy it.
That's
Thank you, Craig.
Our Times literary supplement journalist, Mark, there. It's Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Cole, letter L, for Liverpool, for Beatles stuff with L's in it. You're very welcome. Just lately, there's been like loads of little bits of Beatle news about Ringo Starr's new album, his kind of country and western stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad. Well, the track I've heard is single, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I've seen a video of his, funnily enough. He sings in it while he's sat in the car. And Paul's got had 2 records released from his Dungeon Lane one. I like the second one more than the first. The first one was a bit too sad. And when he's interviewed, he talks about being young and being on bomb sites, what we call bommies. And people who were interviewing him didn't know what the hell he was on about. So I'm thinking sometimes he isn't kind of reaching people. But he's on all the right shows and he's doing all the right interviews and stuff. So when it's out there, it'll be quite a big hit for him, I think.
I quite like that first single, really. It's one that's, little bits of it keep sticking in my head and I can't let go of them.
Well, that's his magic. That's his ability to come up with a tune and come up with a melody, and lyrics are simple enough to follow. And
his album's out the 29th of May.
Yeah, I know, it's the end of the month. There's a George Harrison book, which is, I can't remember, it's got something to do with the number 3 in it. Photographs, like Paul's one, Through the Ivor Lens, or whatever it was called. That's due out soon. And also, they have announced last week before, that they're going to open Savile Row, number 3 Savile Row in London, for people to explore and enjoy, if they're Beatle fans.
Yep. Next year,
I'm not
2027.
Inclined. No, I'm not really that inclined to go, because when I knew of it, I'd read the Mark Lewison book about Beatles London, and the place has so changed from what it was as a Beatles hall, with Derek Taylor ordering 9,000 bottles of brandy, that it's not what it was, and I don't think you'll get what it is, but maybe they'll do it up and make it look realistic enough. I don't even think the Beatles own it. I think it was passed on to a pension company when they flogged it for 3 or 4 million quid. They had nothing else to do with this, and now they seem to be involved in it again. Do they own it again? Don't know. But the roof bit, which I think a lot of people will want to do, it's not the roof it was, really. There's other things been built around the roof, and it doesn't look like the roof you'd perform on. And who'd let you go up there? That's my question. For safety insurance and
they'll
stuff.
do something up there, they'll make it safe.
Well, yeah, I think the people who invent these things, like the ABBA Stadium thing and our local things, which are the National Trust things for the Lennon House, the McCartney House, and there's a George Harrison one out there now. They're all doing things to make it look like it was, which is great, go with it.
It should do something with the other place in London as well, what Ringo rented in Flat 1, 34 Montague Square, where Ringo rented it, and then it passed from one Beatle to another to... practically every Beatle or Beatle wife stayed there.
Derek Taylor stayed there with his brandy concessions.
John Lennon and Yoko stayed there and made the place a right mess. There's rubbish everywhere, but they should do something with Flat 1, 34 Montague Square. So
well,
go
and
have a look at that one day when they go down.
If we talk about exploiting like old Beatle venues and haunts and stuff, that Beatleplaces is all about recognising what Liverpool has in the way of the Beatles went there, the Beatles did that there, the Beatles are here. There's a few houses they've still had time to live. I'm a little excited and full of wind now. I'm due a hiccup anytime soon.
The listeners, think of the listeners.
I often don't. There's Paul's house locally in Heswell, which I'm told I must keep an eye on in case his rotary dryer's got something new on it. Nothing to report, I'm afraid. He's got a little bit of pointing done around the house, which is the brickwork stuff. And maybe if I just turned up with a lawnmower, maybe they'd let me on, and I could just go around his garden and pick up some trimmings.
I'll do the edges for him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, do the edges. Yeah.
Trim the edges.
Me mate, one of my mates is a building inspector, and he went round to Mike McCartney's house, which is local again, but can't reveal where that is. But it took a lot of security to get through. That's all I can say.
It would do.
Yeah, because he's a famous man too, and I respect his privacy. But so lo and behold, Paul's house, the one in Heswell, very pretty house, very nice thing. And in the summertime, wow, there must be some parties there. So if I spot any gazebos, any sort of tents, or the smell of hot dogs, I'll give you all a call because he'll be having vegetarian hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
He'll be having a barbecue, which is meat friendly. And I'll check his wheelie bins the moment it's over, I promise you.
And then get arrested.
Well...
Right. Enough of that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's have a jingle then.
The Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Find us under B for Beatles, or P for Podcast, or A for any old rubbish. By George, we needed that, didn't we?
That was very nice, yes. Have you been practising that one?
Not at all. In fact, I think I'm going backwards.
Right. How about some lyrics?
Oh, no. That old favourite. People like this.
They do, yes.
And I kind of like, is it crappy karaoke time? Yes, it is.
I make millions from this, you know. In my dreams I do.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to know which song these lyrics come from. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. I've had a drink or two, and I don't care.
Oh, there's no more?
No?
Oh.
I've had a drink or two, and I don't care.
Okay, right. You mind leaving that with me for about
Leave
a fortnight?
Leave that with you for a fortnight,
yeah.
Here's another one. But if your heart breaks, don't wait. Turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on. I won't delay.
Not the same song as the one before, is it?
No. Oh. But if your heart breaks, don't wait. Turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on. I won't delay.
We haven't gone into Freddie and the Dreamers songs, have we?
Not yet. No. It's very close, though.
It's a Beatles song.
Oh, it is. It is.
Okay.
And question number 3. How can I even try? I can never win having hearing... Start again. Wind back.
You know, I'd rather you didn't.
How can I even try? I can never win hearing them, seeing them. Okay.
If the title flashed in front of me and now it's gone away.
How can I even try? I can never win hearing them, seeing them.
It's
it's there somewhere, isn't it? It's going around your head.
The first one, good night. Thank you anyway. Second one, maybe next time. Third one is you got to hide your love away.
Oh, well done.
The others,
you don't know yet. I'll tell you in a bit. So that was the last one. Yeah. How can I even try? I can never win hearing them, seeing them. You've got to hide your love away.
It's your ability. That's a loose term for the word.
Oh, it is an ability.
It's your ability to make those lyrics not sound like lyrics. Sounds like you're reading out a gas bill.
I can do that as well.
Don't read out a gas bill, no. For the third quarter, you owe Tom, Mark, and I mean that mostly not sincerely.
Answers coming shortly, anyway.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. I'll give you a few puzzles. How about the fact that I did find a Liverpool L fact about Beatles in an L capacity. Litherland Town Hall, 1961, December. Beatles had come back from Hamburg, and it's a queer one because the band consisted of another guy in there called Chas Newby, who was just asked to play the bass at the time. And imagine being him at the time. I'd love to have been him, because that was the gig that turned the Beatles into the Beatles that we know of. Mad panic. People loved them immediately. You know, they caused a stir. And that was the gig I wanted to go to. Apart from being in the cavern most weeks, I would have liked to have gone to that one. So I've been up there, and it doesn't look like it had all that sort of charm. It just looks like a council building now. But Litherland Town Hall, December 1961. Guess who's in the audience? Just watching. So there's the beat. There's John. There's George. There's Paul. There's Chas Newby playing the bass because they didn't have anyone at the time. 1961.
Frankie Vaughan
is the wrong answer.
Go on then.
Ringo Starr.
Ah,
No, I never knew that. I mean, you could see that when he kind of sized them up and said, "Yeah, I'll join you." He must have remembered that occasion. He must have, because how exciting was that? Would that have been? I would have loved to have done that.
he must have known that.
I mean, when you see your first big bands, and you're a big fan of ELO, so when you caught them live for the first time, that must have sort of knocked your socks off. It was kind of like, whoa, so different, so good. But a lot of bands like that. There you go. A little fact about Litherland Town Hall. Begins with an L, by the way.
Does it? How about the answers to these things now? Okay, so not having you hanging on anymore. Lyrics. I've had a drink or two and I don't care.
Nope, still not.
If I say it more in the rhythm of what... no, I won't sing it because it won't work, will it? And I'll get...
Well, your singing's dubious anyway. So.
And I get hammered for royalties. I've had a drink or two and I don't care. I don't want to spoil the party.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, yes.
There you go. And there's the next one. But if your heart breaks, don't wait, turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on, I won't delay.
It's an early one.
Shall I read it a bit more? But if your heart breaks, don't wait, turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on, I won't delay. What do you do when you cross the road? You look left and right.
And left again.
And left again,
As
and then...
Green Cross Code.
You wait for...
The
the
lights.
traffic. And I've just given you the answer then.
Wait!
Yes!
Of course, I would say latterly, in hindsight. I'm an idiot, and it's official. Thanks.
Well, I know
thanks.
that.
That's fine. That's fine. So as long as we're both on an even keel.
Sinking fast.
Interesting stuff. I like picking up weird facts about our favourite bands, and I did some research a while back, and I've just printed it off because it was in my Beatleplaces book, and thought, that doesn't get a mention, but it will give you a very good idea how things were. Mentioned before that the Beatles went to Hamburg famously, 1960 up to 62. But at one point they were caught out by the Income Tax Department, the Inland Revenue, the HMRC, the HM Inspector of Taxes, and they pestered them for a declaration of their income earned as musicians in Hamburg. And because they've lived in the UK so much, their tax had to be paid in the UK. And what occurred was the Beatles approached a fellow called Kevin Smith, who was like an accountant everyone recommended in the bands, because when they got into stuck over their taxation problems, their tax, they would get in touch with Herr Schmidt, as they called him. And somewhere in the bowels of the Liverpool Record Office, I found John Lennon's tax return details. Not specifically off a tax return, just listed from a tax return. So it'll just be interesting to tell you what he said on paper in an official account. And I know where he did this. He went to a certain office in Liverpool to declare his income. But you get an idea. He was declaring real things. He wasn't telling fibs or porkies here. So there he is in Hamburg, spending money and earning money, but also he had to pay the tax on it. So he was paid 180 marks per week for playing in Hamburg, 30 marks a day. He had Mondays off. These are just the facts of the case. What was he spending money on? Buses, taxis, boats, planes and trains. Well, I don't remember planes involved, but he was certainly on trains and things. And this is when he was at the Kaiser Keller, by the way. So he bought his second guitar in Germany for 90 quid, which was the Rickenbacker famous one, the Capri one.
That's a lot then.
Yeah. 30 odd quid for an amp in Germany. He when it came to paying for regular outgoings, his expenses and stuff like that, He paid towards the rent of a television. This is back at home in Mendips in Liverpool. And he paid 10 bob a week for that. So he rented a telly because we had to once upon a time. We didn't own tellies. They were expensive.
Radiofusion, was it? Or radio rentals?
Probably radio rentals, yeah.
Aye.
It says here in the report, because John was interviewed by a taxman for this, so this is all on record. He bought 5 to 6 singles a week, and they were 6 and 9 each.
Oh.
6 and 9 each. Also, he did tell one lie that I can find. He bought sheet music. Now, he couldn't read music, so he claimed he spent money on that. Right, as a musician, you know, he had to buy those things. And he spent money on musical papers like the New Musical Express and Disc and other newspapers and things of that nature.
Yep.
And there was quite a lot of detail, but I liked the fact that he had to declare things like clothes and stuff. He bought an awful lot of socks. Don't ask me why he needed so many bleeding socks, but he did.
Wow.
Here's a description of his clothing. Leather trousers, 23 quid.
Ooh.
A lot of money then, 60. Leather jacket, 12 quid.
Ooh.
He had 16 shirts in Hamburg and sweaters. He had hats and caps. So I know the ones he means, the ones you've seen him in
like
pictures.
his leather cap.
He had 2 pairs of jeans, just 2.
Two.
16 shirts, 2 pairs of kecks.
I suppose his shirt's got quite sweaty though, doesn't it?
Well, it's all about that, isn't it? You know, I know when they kind of ventured to Hamburg first time around, Paul's next door neighbour was a tailor, or he worked for a tailor's, and he made them lilac-coloured suits. Well, they just fell off with the amount of sweat that they had from playing in the band. Other things John bought, he bought a load of T-shirts. He didn't say how many. T-shirts, 4 bob each, 4 shillings each. Wow. Cowboy boots, which famously he did buy in the Hunterstadt in Germany. He bought shoes for 4 quid. A corduroy shirt. Could you wear one of them now? Corduroy shirt, very itchy. 9 quid. 9 quid.
Oh, that's trendy.
Yeah. Now, onto the sock issue. There were black socks, and he had 6 pairs of them. He had white socks, 6 pairs of them, and blue socks. 6 and 11 they cost. Now, here's the last thing. I'll wind this up now because it's getting a bit silly. So, in all, we're talking about amount they'd earned as a band member. So, okay, so from April 60 to April 61, the band played 27 gigs in the UK. They were in Hamburg for 15 weeks, and then they played another 90 gigs in the UK. Total earnings, 619 quid.
Wow.
That was for the year 1961. This is just for one of the Beatles, John, I think. In 61 to 62, for the whole, they went to Hamburg for 14 weeks. They were paid 304 quid for doing that. And they played at UK gigs, 265 gigs in the UK in that year. And the total earnings from all that converted to pounds and yada yada, 1,099. That was it. So that's how hard it was being a Beatle to begin with.
That's not bad though, I suppose, doing what you enjoy.
Yeah, it went up a tad in years to follow. So after that,
they lost it all again.
Sky's the limit. Well, he spent it mostly on cognac and vodka and Derek Taylor's cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting side.
And the Apple Boutique.
The Fool.
That gobbled it up.
Well, they just couldn't help being drawn in by these interesting people because that's what...
Who fleeced them for everything
that's what they liked, and that's who they met, and that's who they knew.
Aye.
Well. There you go. Thought you'd like it.
Thank you. What else have we got?
I was going to run
Anything
through.
Else
yeah,
now?
just getting into the windy uppy stagey. We've got a. Well, I was going to mention. Yeah, I'm going to Liverpool to photograph some more things for my Instagram account. A couple more Beatle firsts might not hurt. Let's find some more, just 1 or 2 more. Liverpool firsts. They had the first circulating library in 1877. I think that means books that go out and come back.
Ah,
yeah,
right.
that's what they mean, yeah. They had the first School of Veterinary Medicine, Science, 1904. No, I didn't think that was, a deal, but it was, seems to be. Famous people from Liverpool. Kim Cattrall, actor. Taron Egerton, he was in League of Gentlemen shows, I think it was. Tom Baker, Doctor Who guy. Jodie Comer, famous actress. Elvis Costello is a Scouser by title, because his parents came from Liverpool and he lived in London, but mostly in Birkenhead. So he's entitled to be what they call a Scouser. And of course, famously, James Bond, the last one, who's gone now, Daniel Craig, who I quite like, he's a Scouser as well. Lots of Scousers from Liverpool, duh. There are a lot of people from Liverpool. What else is there? So there's L's. The songs that Beatles had in the L category: Let It Be, Lady Madonna, Leave My Kitten Alone, Little Child, Like Dreamers Do, Love Me Do, Love You Too. I'm not speaking to you, I'm telling you song titles.
Thank goodness.
Lovely Rita, Lucy in the Sky, and then you won't remember this one, Los Paranoias off Abbey Road.
I do.
And one of the final songs they ever made, Long, 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 it might have even been the last Beatles song ever recorded by them all. And Long Tall Sally. Long Tall Sally. There's in terms of Beatle people, there's all kinds. There's Cynthia Lennon, Julia Lennon, Richard Lester, Mark Lewison, the great author, Michael Lindsay Hogg, who did all the great Beatle videos of them doing Paperback Writer and Rain and so on. Kenny Lynch is an important person. He was a good singer, and he was also a comedian performer, and he recorded the very first Beatles cover, which was Misery, that I recall. Places for Liverpool, well, as Lewis's, the department store in Liverpool. Mentioned it already. Liverpool Institute, Liverpool Stadium, which I mentioned before. Liverpool Town Hall, which is always a nice place to go to. Try and get there if you can. Liverpool College of Art, which we've covered loads of times on the podcasts. And Las Vegas, which the band played at in 64 time, I think. In terms of other random gear, remember Lord of the Rings?
Aye.
They had the rights to. They bought the rights to that, but never used them.
Yeah.
And She's Leaving Home, that was produced not by George Martin. It was produced by Mike Leander, who was an up and coming producer. I think Paul was a little bit frustrated with the weight, so he bothered another guy who was this Mike Leander. And he said, look, can you do something with this particular song? He added the strings and so forth to that particular song. A bunch of L stuff. There's more, but we'll cover it another time. Maybe we won't do L again.
I think I'll read a last little bit more of John Lennon's book in his own right. Okay?
Yeah.
This one is called I Wandered. On balmy seas and perny schooners, on strivers and warming things, in a peanut coal shed clad, I wandered happy as a Jew to meet good Doris King. Past Grisby trees and hulky bills, past ratters and bradder sheep. In a rhesus baby stooped, I wandered hairy as a dog to get a good bite sleep. Down Hovey lanes and stony claves, down Ricketts and Stickles myth. In a fatty Hebrew girth, I wandered humply as a sock to meet bad Bernie Smith. And that was it. What? I haven't a clue what it means. But,
well, he mentioned socks, so he had me right in there. I was right in there.
I wandered lonely as a cloud. I don't think it was, really. But,
was it? Well, give the guy a chance. He had a go. And,
he had a go.
And luckily, you read it out.
I did.
Yeah. So I think we've concluded what we would call a podcast.
We've come to a conclusion, haven't we?
I said so at the bottom of the road. You have come to a conclusion. Now make
turn left.
Turn left or make a
U-turn.
If the road is clear.
Yeah. No parking. You can't go anywhere really. Which we've come to the end of this LP now.
LP. What is it? What was the L of LP? Long player.
We've come to the run-out groove now, so we're going to have a high-pitched scream and or a high-pitched whistle.
Yeah, if you suddenly find the room's full of Labradors, it's our fault, okay? So we're going to say tar very much for listening to the podcast. We hope it was audible enough, loud enough, stereo enough.
Interesting enough.
Mark mentioned enough. Yeah.
Never could be any other way. Never could be any other way.
Well, we're always striving to get there, but as usual, we thank our show sponsor, which was Halibut's throat lozenges, who were very helpful, got us through this evening. So thank you, Mr. Halibut.
And Johnson's digestive biscuits.
As used by astronauts, it says on the packet.
They'll...
We'll get free. Yeah, no, we'll get free ones now. We'll get free ones.
We'll get overloaded with them now.
You can hear the lorry backing them up now. Beep beep.
Last
beep.
up to 15,000 degrees C.
We're
just rambling now.
Try them during re-entry.
We're coming to the end of the tape now, so...
is it? Oh, yeah.
The red light's on now.
It's coming on. Yeah. Tarfa being there.
Turn the red light off.
We will.
And we're going now. Hey, it's going. It's coming to the end. I'm going to fall off.
Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We hope to see you again real soon, and don't forget to visit the gift shop on the way out.